Chris Eubank Jr.
Welcome back to Inside PBC Boxing. A big welcome as well to middleweight contender Chris Eubank Jr., to his father as well, former two-division champ Chris Eubank Sr., our very first British guest on the show, I might add. Perhaps our fanciest guest as well so far.
We're the first British guest.
Yeah, I know. What's happening?
Wow.
It's been a while.
Well, it's a privilege. Thank you.
But we're glad to have you. Welcome to America. You're based over here right now, preparing for your next fight. Your next opponent, Matt Korobov. It's for the vacant interim WBA middleweight title belt, which is on December 7th. How do you beat him?
How do I beat Matt Korobov? Pressure and smarts. He's a very experienced and well-renowned amateur fighter. I think he's had like 300-plus amateur wins.
Yeah.
We have the same record in the pros, 28-2. But I believe that my firepower and my hunger is going to be able to diminish anything he brings to the ring. You know, I believe he had a great fight against Charlo last year, and you know, I'm making a statement. I'm going to go in there and make a statement. I'm going to stop him. I'm going to outbox him and then stop him.
That's where my mind goes. It goes back to that fight. That was the first time I had heard of Matt Korobov and the first time I'd seen him. I haven't seen him since, but in that fight with Korobov and Charlo, where do you think the separation is for you in terms of beating Korobov more decisively than Charlo did?
The jab and firepower, getting him when he's up against those ropes, when he's not active, taking full advantage. I feel like Charlo he wasn't busy enough when he should have been, and that's why the fight was so close. You know, Korobov is he's a counterpunch. He picks his punches. You know, I think that you can overwhelm a man like that.
As a professional, have you fought any Russian fighters?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I fought...
WBA interim?
Yeah, my first, WBA interim world title against Chudinov.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first time. I think I fought a couple of Russian journeymen too. The one thing about these Eastern Europeans, they're very tough.
This is why I asked, had you fought any as a professional? Because you got to kind of have to be in the ring. You can't just ask someone, you know, how was it being in the ring with a Russian fighter? You got to go through that. So you feel like you've been through that, and Korobov is just, you're ready for that meet, huh?
That's right. You know, I feel like those Eastern Europeans, they have a very similar mentality to the Mexican fighters. They don't back down. They come forward. They're strong. They take a good shot. So you have to be very mentally and physically prepared to fight these types of guys.
Yes, we are. All of the above. I'm Mexican. So, but, you know, I'm going to take it back a little bit. You mentioned, you know, the Jermall fight against him. And, you know, you watched it. You said you want to make a statement. You know, come fight night. Say you do make a statement, you win the fight. Is that the next fight you're looking forward to? The Jermall Charlo fight?
I mean, if that's what PBC and Showtime want, then that's the fight I'm going to take. You know, he's a very big name in the sport.
But I mean, you want to make a statement for a reason.
Absolutely.
What reason is that?
The reason is because, you know, I want to take over the middleweight division. You know, I want to fight the best fighters out here. I don't believe Charlo is one of the best fighters in the middleweight division. You know.
Who is to you?
I mean, if Canelo comes back down to middleweight, that's the fight I'm looking for. You know, I want to fight the best. I want to be in the biggest and baddest fights possible. And I think my style is perfect for a man like that.
Has this been your advice? Have you advised Chris to move back down to 160? Do you see him at his best there?
Most certainly. He moved up to super middleweight because of the World Boxing Super Series.
Right.
So the money that was on offer was too good, and effectively I put him into that, and it is what it is. But he was fighting men who were coming down from 190 pounds.
Yeah.
So effectively,
I was having breakfast the day of the weigh-ins to make 168, and then I was getting into the ring the next day at 168, not a pound over. Whereas these guys are putting on 10, 20 pounds, so you know they had a very big physical advantage against me. So I feel like coming down to middleweight, I'm going to be a lot more powerful, a lot more explosive, because I'm going to be fighting guys who are not much naturally bigger men than me, you know?
So he will be the big middleweight.
And that was what I was wondering. We've seen you at 168 as well as 160, and I kind of had the feeling that it depended on who the fight was would depend on whether or not you fight at 168, 160. Is that correct, or are you going to make a official move to 160 and be there?
He's making an official move to 160.
Okay.
I mean, the reasons for which is, as he said, Canelo.
That was.
There's a lot of big names.
Yeah.
Golovkin, that's a fight, you know, if it could be made, I would love that fight. You know, I want to fight the big names, the marquee names out there. I'm 30 years old. I got, you know, a couple years where, you know, I'm still in my prime. So this is the time now to get these big fights and to prove myself.
Why the gap then until this fight? Because would you say the biggest win of your career so far was the win in what was it, February against James DeGale? So it would be almost 10 months or 10 months or more?
Yeah, there's been, you know, I'm now with over here in America. I wanted to fight 3 times this year. Boxing, sometimes things don't map out like, you know, they're supposed to. But we have this great fight here in New York on December 7th against Matt Korobov, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great introduction to the American audience. You know, I'm a very exciting fighter, very fan-friendly. I don't coast, you know, I don't back down. I'm always looking to stop my guy. I'm always looking to advance and be in these exciting fights. So I think my style is perfect for the American audience.
I like it. Hold on. I like the energy. I like, you know, the enthusiasm. You're ready to showcase them bright that night. But, I mean, I do got to, you know, bring it up and ask. You know, we saw it against, you know, Anthony Joshua, his debut, you know, here in the States. Are you in any way nervous? Are you pressured to really put on a great performance? Or
you know what? Listen, at this stage, every fight is pressure. Every fight is you have to perform. That's the mindset I've had my entire career. I have to go out there and be the best fighter I can be and uphold the legacy that me and my father have built. You know, this is something that, you know, I've had so much pressure and so much attention on me from day one. I fought in front of 2 million viewers on Channel 5 in England in my first pro fight, which is unheard of. You know? So I've always had this expectation and legacy to live up to. And now here, 30 years old, in America, this is the perfect time for me to make that next step and to, you know, introduce the Eubank legacy to the United States.
I'm not going to say welcome to America because you've been here for a little while. How is it being at the Mayweather gym?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, I actually began my amateur career here in Vegas, in America, and then I moved back to England and turned pro and all the rest of it. But, yeah, I mean, I've trained on and off here in New York and in Vegas for years. I've spent a lot of time with Floyd and his father. I learned so much from them and the gyms out there. You know, I trained at your gym as an amateur, Barry's Boxing. I had my first 10 amateur fights in Vegas. But yeah, I'm super excited now to take that first step into my pro career as a professional and fight out here as a pro.
Now, have you had one of those infamous sparring sessions at the Mayweather gym, the doghouse?
I have.
They call it the doghouse?
Yeah?
You have?
Yeah, I have.
No time?
No time limit. Just go in there and...
Can you say a name? No, who you sparred now?
You know,
but how was it?
Listen,
he's still here.
It kind of sucked.
He's still here.
It kind of sucked because I was actually... I got off the plane the day before, so I was still jet lagged.
Oh,
but,
they got you there. They like to do that. When you get here, just now, okay, get in the ring. You know, we're tough. We just want to get in there.
Yeah, when Floyd's there, it's like... You got to prove yourself. You got to get in there and you got to do your thing. You can't say no. If someone says they want to spar, you got to get in there and spar.
I got a question for Dad. I got a question for Dad. Dad, your son is carrying on the legacy. How do you feel about what he's doing so far in his professional career?
They always say I'm controversial.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be, I suppose. Truth actually is controversial. You see, 3 years ago, he was swindled or moved out of a fight with GGG. And our name was bandied around as being lacking integrity. So, you know, today, Golovkin is said to be a fighter who may be in the twilight of his career. 3 years ago, I said to Junior that the best fighter on the planet is Canelo. He said, well, I don't see that. He said, I can beat him. I said, well, this guy here, you're making mistakes, he'll cut you to ribbons. Okay. So now he's telling me He's going to actually take care of Korobov.
Yeah.
He's going to beat Charlo.
Yeah.
And he wants to be in position to fight Canelo.
That's right.
Because I can see the way he beats him. He believes he can beat him. And if you've seen him when he's switched on, he is fierce.
Yes. Yes.
And he has my constitution when it comes to staying power.
Very good.
Or being able to absorb punishment. That of which I'm sure he'll have to take against Canelo at some point.
Yeah.
But he's got the beating of him because of an element of which I'm not going to mention because I'm not giving anything away.
Of course.
Because the fight's going to happen.
Yeah. Understood.
Sean, does your dad ever tell you there is somebody that you couldn't beat?
I don't think so. I don't think my dad has ever...
Or maybe yet?
No.
I have.
Yeah.
I've told him who he can't beat.
Well, how do you feel about that?
Don't tell them the name.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to tell them the name.
And I think the difference there is I don't think my dad and I, we really never looked that far into the future. I think we always kind of concentrated on what was right in front of us and just ahead of us and kind of try to handle one fight and one goal at a time.
So, no, I have a different view. I suppose, having retired some 20 years ago, I've got the experience and as the time has passed, it's given me this insight. And the insight gives you a forevision where you can predict and see things. Okay, and so therefore with Junior, I can see what he can do. He perhaps may not be able to see it, I can see it. And if the trust is there between father and son, there's not much he can't do.
You sound just like my dad.
No, but I want him to answer that. How do you feel about, your father maybe saying that there's a certain fight that maybe you can't beat yet, or...
I mean, in my last fight in the press conference, he said he was worried I was going to lose to James DeGale. And I said it then, I'm not really... I can't worry myself with what other people think. Obviously,
even
it's my
your own father.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. You can't have any doubts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're fighting Satan himself. You have to believe 100% that you can beat any man on the planet. You can't go into the ring thinking, oh, I might get hurt. This might happen, that might happen.
Son, I was
it's got to be 100%.
Son,
so that's how I've always.
Son, I was making sure that you were switched on. If I'm worried, then who would? That's worried. Okay, let me switch on.
That sounds familiar.
It's a difficult transition to make, but I'm going to try and make it anyway. Boxers, you only have to look here for a second to see how well dressed you guys are. Some of the best dressed athletes in the world. We've got one of the all-time best dressed here today, Senior, always very dapper. We'd like to give you the opportunity to give us your thoughts on some of these fighters, if you would. We're going to play a game called PBC's Best Dressed.
Oh, look at
Chris Eubank Sr. Here we go. Let's go. First up, Deontay Wilder. What do you make of it? Let's see. Have we got it? How do you feel about this outfit?
It is spectacular.
That's spectacular.
It is. You can see.
You're going to give us 10 out of 10 for that one?
I didn't say 10 out of 10.
Oh, OK.
I said
I thought
spectacular.
spectacular might be 10 out of 10.
No, the word actually says it all. Doesn't it give you that spectacular feeling, what he's wearing?
Would you wear it?
Personally?
Would I? When I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. So if I wore it, it would look good too.
There you go.
OK, next up, let's move on to the Charlo twins. I feel like you're going to like this one.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, we can't joke about them too much because he's going to be taming one of them in the not too distant future.
Here we go.
Jermell, the one with the A, not the E.
Yeah, Jermell.
So, carry on.
Out of the two, which would you wear? Out of the two, which would you wear? What would you put on?
We're already on to Caleb Plant.
Okay.
Caleb Plant. Sophisticated, suave,
Kelly's all in
understated.
Yes. Carry on.
That's working. All right, Danny Garcia. The pink satin pajama look shirt.
You know what?
You showing your chest? You gonna show your chest?
Well, I can't do that, being the gentleman that I am.
Yeah.
No, we don't know about showing chests. But what I would say is, it works for him.
Yeah.
Right.
And anything you wear is about getting into the character of what you're wearing. Okay, so it's about your energy and your spirit within that makes clothes.
It's
shine.
not what you're wearing, it's how you make it look.
That's it. Bit of British swag for you to finish off. What do you think?
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Killer.
Yeah, it's...
Did you teach him?
10 out of 10?
Did you teach him well?
I would hope that it would roll off onto him. the idea of being sartorially elegant. There is a quotation that goes as follows. It's about the dandy. The dandy? A dandy is a clothes-wearing man, a man whose office, trade, and existence exists in the wearing of clothes. Every faculty of his soul, spirit, purse, and person is heroically consecrated in this one object, the wearing of clothes, wisely and well. So as others may dress to live, the dandy actually lives to dress.
Yeah. That's what you grew up with, huh?
I grew up with that and a whole lot more.
Any
I
more
like
pictures?
that.
What? Well, no.
What happened to Shawn and I?
Well, you can
No
just...
love. No love.
How do you feel about Shawn's tie? Shawn likes a thick knot.
And socks, and
I saw that.
he's always, you know, messing with those socks.
I feel like it's
You see that? He was like, yeah, baby, this is hot, baby.
But it's like you said, the
It's what you're
clothes
feeling.
I
It's what
wear
you're
the
feeling.
clothes.
That's right.
Man, very good.
All right,
Nice to
guys.
see you too.
Yeah,
Brilliant to
likewise.
see you. Best of luck with your US debut. We're rooting for you. Will you stick around for us as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
We're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Well, if you enjoyed that clip, make sure you click somewhere around here and subscribe. From fight highlights to exclusive interviews, we have got everything you need as a boxing fan right here on PBC on Fox.